Well, I must tell you, it's very nice to be doing a chow now again with some real food because, you know, guys, in fact, let me introduce myself. I'm speaking to Philip Yowela. We have Shane Sauvage. In French, is it?
It is French, that's
right. It's Philips.
I prefer it being South African.
But he prefers being South African. And of course, Ross Richardson. Now, excuse my dress, I'm not looking very hygienic. We had a complaint the other day that I'm not looking hygienic around the food. But I've been eating South American, New Guinea cannibal stuff, and it's not good. So I'm glad to see you guys are making ordentelijke food here today. Now, Ross, apparently there's a mushroom festival coming up. What's all that about?
Yeah, it's very exciting for us. We've got, if you can look at the poster, the Mushroom Festival from the 9th to the 18th of March 2001. The South African Mushroom Farmers Association and Fedhauser have clubbed together to promote the awareness of white mushrooms, brown mushrooms, and oyster mushrooms. I think there are some here.
Oyster mushrooms?
Yeah.
Why are they called oyster mushrooms? Does they look like oysters?
I suppose so. Also, but probably their taste as well. It's such a refined, delicate taste. And what we're doing is with participating restaurants, we're getting the chefs involved in cooking up dishes for the patrons that visit these establishments, and so that people can go in wherever they see the posters and hopefully sample some delicious mushroom dishes.
I'm looking forward to it. Now, what are we making today, chaps? What is our dish today?
Well, I'm going to be making a main course with tequila, dark chocolate, a little bit of cinnamon, some garlic, touch of chili, pastry with honey, sesame seeds. Whoa. And last but not least, the portobellini mushroom, which I think is one of the most exotic mushrooms at the moment in South Africa.
Portobellini mushroom, one of the most exotic.
Portobellini, that's correct.
So that's what you're going to start, per se. Where do you start now? Where are you going to start?
Well, I'm going to start over here. We're going to add some garlic, some lightly sautéed onions to the pan, as follows, and then start preparing the mushrooms. They will be sautéed lightly in this with a little bit of pepper.
Work while you're working.
Philip is going to be preparing his own dish.
The oyster mushroom salad, which is basically the oysters, and then we have onions, chili, basil, coriander, parmesan cheese, which is going to be baked, and cocktail tomatoes with a little bit of cointreau, and the balsamic and olive oil dressing. Basically, this is an authentic kind of dish with a little bit of French touch. But I'm pretty sure us South Africans are going to enjoy this dish. Okay.
Are
Definitely.
you going to help cook as well, Ross?
No,
you're going to be making sure they do it right.
I'm making sure they do it right.
Okay. Well, we're going to get going with that. We're going to come back to the guys several times again in the course of the show. But right now, it's time to go and see what's coming up on the show still later on coming up, because we've still got like an hour and 10. So, gooi more. Trace, tell us what's going for us, because we like it already.
I found that particularly dangerous, you know, the wild mushrooms and that, but it didn't seem to affect him all that bad. So I think it's going all right. So if you come back, we won't have any more disasters or mulberry sort of syndrome here. After this break, we've got King of Kwaito Arthur coming in. I'll be chatting to him right after the break. Also, the cast of Glory Days, they'll be coming in and also giving us a bit of an a cappella performance, and also South African powerlifting. Back with us after this break, but enjoy and come back. We're on the Toasty Show.
So you're not going to DJ, right?
I don't know, Tindai. Can I say how I feel?
Well, the rest of you please feel good, man. Let's rock the house. Let's do this, all right?
Why should I have 5 minutes for you when you don't have 5 minutes to listen to me sing? Come, Pussy. I want to be there on time like a professional.
Okay, let's do this thing.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see Tindai's face when he does show. It's going to be the bomb.
Aside from that about me.
Phil, I think we can pretty much be sure that it's pot.
Yep, it's the weed. Wacky tobacco.
Mary Jane.
Grab.
Opposite Sex, Saturday at 6:05.
Now, Arthur, if today by any chance you see my uncle coming at you with this, okay, just run or shout Trace and I'll come and save you. I'm sitting here with the King of Kwaito, Arthur. How are you doing this morning?
I'm fine.
Is jy lekker?
Yeah.
Now, I want
Lekker goed.
Lekker goed, is jy? I just want to get a sort of general picture of you for people who don't know. You know, not that I think you need any introduction, but maybe some people out there don't listen to Kwaito and they want to know who you are. How did you first get involved in music?
I got involved way back then when I was a kid. My mother used to own a tavern.
Yeah,
It was always noisy.
You know how we grew up in townships, and
No, I actually don't. It's like all ignorant.
No.
Okay, but I will use my imagination, yeah?
yeah, so that's how I got the inspiration of just listening to disco music, and obviously disco music later developed into house music.
All right.
And I started freestyling on Kwaito music, and then started doing on house music, instrumentals, and then I later termed my kind of music Kwaito.
And then the show Road to Fame, was that a biggie or not really?
I think the show Road to Fame helped in a sense that it exposed me, because I went there as a dancer, not as an artist or musician.
Yeah.
I went there as a dancer, and every time I would go to the quarterfinals, semi-finals and stuff like that, until at some stage there was some woman there who would see the success called Tembi Mahambe Hlale, and then she started giving us jobs. That's when we started dancing for other artists and stuff like that, and then I got closer and closer, and then I decided to work as a sound engineer. From being a sound engineer, that's when I developed my new sound.
Yeah.
And I started buying equipment, and I owned my studio.
That's quite useful because, I mean, you've done almost everything, and that's why you've got such a wide sense of the whole industry, not just performing. But you also write for other people and produce for other people. What's writing for other people like? Does it differ from writing for yourself?
It's difficult because there's one thing that people don't understand about music. Some of these songs are planned before you do them. People just think you wake up today and say, okay, I'm just going to write about the Toasty Show and stuff like that.
All right.
You plan it. You
Yes.
look at your market. I represent the man on the street. I don't just do music to also fulfill my soul, obviously.
Okay.
I have to fulfill my soul and still entertain other people, because I do music because for me, it's a career, because I believe I'm an entertainer.
Okay.
I don't just do it for myself only. Because you find somebody saying, I'm just doing music for the love of it, playing the guitar or something of that nature, or the keyboards. But then why do you then release it?
Yes.
If it was for you only,
Yes.
why then release it? Because then if you release it, then it means you also want to entertain other people. So I'm also an entertainer, so I have to also take care of the people I'm entertaining.
Now, you were saying your market is the man on the street, but at the same time, your music is quite controversial. I mean, how did you feel when, like, Diden got banned from being played on certain radio stations? Do you think that exactly made it a song for the people on the street, or did you think, was that a risky sort of decision to take?
When Kwaito started, it started as music on the streets. You know, as underground music that would be played in clubs and played at street corners. So for me, I didn't really care. Then I didn't even know about radio promotions or TV promotions. What I just wanted was to be out there and perform. So I was not too much bothered. Instead, I would see myself in the people and say, hey, exposure, you know, because that's what I didn't expect.
You didn't expect people to react that way?
You know, when they started writing, I said, oh, then it means I really exist.
All right.
But the only problem is with that kind of exposure, it turns you sort of into a monster.
All right.
You know,
Do people start labeling you as the controversial artist?
you know, and you start saying, but I know myself, I'm not a monster like they say I am, you know, so it sort of makes you grow up in a different way as compared to other people. Because like now, whatever is Arthur, most of the time is not so nice, you know. I mean, it's like with the South African Music Awards. For the past 7 years, I've only been nominated once.
And why is that, do you think?
Who
what
knows?
sort of relationship
I've got a big hit now.
Yeah?
I'm not nominated.
Okay.
You know,
Do you wonder what that's about?
I sometimes think it's because of the controversy that started way back. So I'm being targeted. And I fought for some of the awards to be there, like Kwaito Awards, the category of Kwaito Awards wasn't there. And I kept on, you know, so maybe it's a punishment that I fought for it. It's there, it's existing, but Arthur is not going to get it.
So what's your relationship with the media and journalists like, if it's had that effect on you?
I would say my relationship with any human being is supposed to be at all times, you know. I'm not supposed to say this one is a journalist, you know. They know me. They always write crap about me. The next day, hi. I know you're doing your job. Because at the end of the day, for us as musicians, our duty is to make a #1 hit record. And for journalists, if they see their name in the front page, that's all they're interested in. You know, whether it's a crappy story or what, the only way to impress their bosses is to see their name in the front page. So sometimes I don't give a damn. Most of them don't even know what they're writing about. I'm sorry to say, most of them. I'm not saying all of them.
Okay. I'm just having a giggle here because actually talking about journalists and people writing crap, we are actually now going to make the news, but we're coming back to chat to you later. Okay. It's time for Make the News.
Make the news. Make the news. Making the news.
you see, Chucky, it's a bit ridiculous. I mean, I've been away in the deep jungles, as you know, because you were with me there for 7 weeks. You get no news, and now suddenly you get swamped by all this news. It gets a bit much for a person. You know, it's hard to cope with it all the time. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. But hey, you must... Oh, don't creep up on a person, because I go into immediate self-defense mode here, because in the jungle I was fighting against all the stuff, so I can tell Tracy must be very careful, because I can hurt you.
Okay, just don't hit me now. I'm just going to reach over and get the paper.
Get some papers here.
Not to rattle you or anything like that.
Right.
It's time to read the newspapers, Uncle Victor.
Because, you know, I mean, my senses of self-defense have been heightened, so... I sometimes don't even know where I am. Where I am now, I mean, make the news, all right. You see, who's coming? Randy Crawford's coming to South Africa.
Oh,
Randy
wow.
Crawford.
When's she coming over?
She's coming here now. She's
Not right now.
March the 31st. March the 31st. She's coming at the Voda thing, at Vodadam Theatre. And I see also some other theatres starting tonight at the Wits Theatre downstairs. Jana Celia, very good actress.
Yeah, what's the play called?
Called An American Popess. So she's apparently playing an American Pope, female. I believe she's married to my double, Bill Flynn.
Oh, that dude you had the interview in?
That Punch,
That boring one,
That boring oak. I don't know why she's married to him. But anyway, she's opening in a play called The American Popess tonight at the Wits Theatre, so that should be very good.
Until the 31st of March, it says. I'm sure you can catch that at 8 p.m.
So she'll be playing till the 31st, and then Randy Crawford takes over. From her. Yeah.
Okay.
That's right. So have you got the article for us there? Because we must
I've got something here. I haven't read it yet, but I'll just go for it now. So Wetton, farmer arrested for pickaxe killing. Oh, no, not again.
It reminds me of South America.
This is the spot where this dude's son was allegedly assaulted by two farmers. Simon, who died of injuries sustained in the attack, was later buried in a pit near Bronkhorstspruit. So there's suspects in connection with the case in which a 26-year-old man was brutally murdered and buried in a shallow grave. It's like that movie, isn't it? I don't want to depress you. Shall we go to something more uplifting?
Yeah, well, look, I've got an interesting one here of the internet. It says it's the cat's meow, the baboon's bottom. It's from a science technology thing, this. It says birds have their love songs and peacocks use their tails. But for baboons trying to attract a partner, the size and shape of their bum is what counts. The bigger and more prominent the female's bum swellings are, the more likely it is she will produce lots of healthy offspring, say the scientists.
Did you see a lot of baboon bums?
I don't want to even talk about that.
Sorry, I don't want to bring that back.
The size of the New Guinea deep jungle bums are like in your face big. I mean, you go near it and it's worse than norm.
Yeah, I'm sorry it was a bit insensitive of me to bring that up now. I'm really sorry.
So this...
Jam Ali's Mashir who finally gets the chop. I read about this yesterday. The producers of South Africa's popular variety show Jam Ali have finally confirmed that the eccentric presenter Vanolia has been axed. Now, she was here, Vanolia, but you were in Papua New Guinea, but she was actually here. She's quite a while, but now she's lost her job.
How was she on the show? Was she all right?
Yeah, she's quite out there. Very energetic. Very energetic indeed. She talks a lot.
Maybe we should get her on the show as a regular.
Yeah. Well, we can look into that. Well, she's a nice blonde, you know. I will have to dye my hair another colour. Quite King Arthur's back after this break, and also some more SA powerlifting, so come back after this break. I'm sorry about
Zimbabwe under the spotlight. First, it was land invasions, and South Africa's response was silence. Now, the media and the judiciary are the latest casualties. Is it finally time to draw the line? Watch Third Degree tonight at 8:30, only on E!
A celebration of cinema. Peter Sellers is the president. Peter Sellers is the captain. Peter Sellers is stark raving mad.
You can't fight in here, this is the war room.
But he's got the perfect solution to all the problems in the world.
No more than 10 to 20 million killed, tops.
Peter Sellers is Dr. Strangelove. Tonight, 10:15.
I was so insensitive now. I made the biggest blunder, right? I must just steer away from topics related to the jungle. That is all food groups, and that is particularly like animals, like baboons and that. So I must just concentrate. I'm losing focus here, you know. It's with the stress and all the concern about him. I'm getting wrinkles before my own day, but he's going to completely bananas. It's driving me insane. So I'd rather just go to the news while I just get my sanity back. But come back after the news.
Welcome, I'm Mandlakazi Mphatla. You're watching the 7 o'clock news bulletin. Right-wing leader Eugene Blanche could be behind bars by this weekend. This after the Supreme Court of Appeal in Bloemfontein upheld his attempted murder conviction and 6-year sentence. These relate to Blanche's 1996 assault on security guard Paul Motsabi, who was disabled by the attack. In a unanimous judgment, the court found that Blanche was rightly convicted of attempted murder. He had tried to get this commuted to serious assault. The court dismissed Blanche's appeal. It said he must have known he could kill Motsabi by hitting him repeatedly over the head with a hard object. In his judgment, Judge Werner Viviers described Blanche as a violent person who attacked a defenseless victim. He said he completely destroyed Motsabi's life. The AWB leader was freed on parole in August last year after serving half of his 1-year prison term for assault. IFP leader Mangosuthu Buthelezi has been allowed access to documentation from the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. The TRC had used this documentation as the basis for its finding that Buthelezi was party to gross human rights violations. The move was a result of a lengthy court battle between Buthelezi and the Commission. Buthelezi had maintained that the Commission's findings about him and the IFP were completely false. The case was heard in the Cape High Court and was then appealed in the Constitutional Court. The IFP leader eventually reached an out-of-court settlement with the TRC, allowing him access to the documents. Buthelezi says now that the documents are beginning to be disclosed. He's confident it will be proven beyond doubt that he never perpetrated, ordered, authorized, or in any way condoned any gross violation of human rights. Former Mozambican First Lady Graça Machel has urged Mozambicans to help themselves to overcome their second natural disaster this year. Machel visited aid workers and victims of the Zambezi River flood. Machel toured the flood-stricken valley in an army helicopter. She also inspected food rations and health provision for the victims. Machel warned that the whole extent of the flooding could not be fully anticipated. At least 52 people have died and more than 85,000 have lost their homes in floods. They've been caused by heavy seasonal rains. Mozambique has not fully recovered from its worst floods last February and March. More than 700 people died and about 500,000 were left homeless. A new computer virus called Naked Wife wreaked havoc in companies worldwide yesterday. The virus invites people to see illicit photos and then completely disables the computer user. The virus appeared on computers across the US, Canada and Europe. At least one software company traced it back to Brazil. Readers who clicked on the attached file would not be greeted by a nude woman, but would instead see a short cartoon followed by a vulgar message signed by BGK, or Bill Gates Killer. It then deletes key Windows and systems files on the user's computer, leaving it unable to start properly. But experts say it's not sophisticated. They say it just uses the universal preoccupation with sex to achieve its goal. Naked Wife spreads quickly by emailing itself to everyone in a user's Microsoft Outlook email address book. Paul Scholes snatched a dramatic injury time equaliser for Manchester United as they drew 1-1 with Panathinaikos in Group A of the Champions League last night. Georgios crashed home a shot from outside the area in the 25th minute for Panathinaikos. Alex Ferguson's men need to avoid a 3-goal defeat next week against Stamgras to reach the quarterfinals. Meanwhile, Valencia and Galatasaray have joined Real Madrid and Leeds in the quarterfinals. Valencia's 5-0 thrashing of 10-men Stamgras in Austria and a 2-0 victory by Galatasaray over AC Milan were enough to see them through from Group A and Group B, respectively. Paris Saint-Germain are out after losing 4-3 at Deportivo La Corona. Join me at 7:30 for the final news bulletin. Whether or not is next on the Toasty Show.
Right, well, I'm back here with Helgaard Koortse and the SA powerlifting team. But before we get to them, let's just have some more power weather today on International Women's Day. We've got a lot of warnings here, unfortunately. Hot and humid conditions with a dangerously high level of discomfort, much like myself here, are expected over eastern KwaZulu-Natal, Swaziland, as well as the low-veld areas of Mpumalanga and Northern Province. Talking upside down is not so lekker, but here's our local weather forecast for you oaks out there. So, gooi that. Gauteng, fine, becoming partly cloudy and hot. The UVB sunburn index in Pretoria, very dangerous. Mpumalanga, cloudy and humid in the low veld, otherwise partly cloudy and hot. Northern Province, cloudy and humid in the low veld and Limpopo Valley, otherwise partly cloudy and hot. Northwest Province, partly cloudy and hot with a few thunderstorms in the extreme south. Free State, partly cloudy and hot with a few thunderstorms except in the north. Northern Cape, fine and hot with a few thunderstorms in the extreme east. It'll be cool along the coast with moderate southeasterly winds becoming fresh to strong later. Western Cape, hot over the interior, otherwise fine and warm but cloudy and cool along the south coast. The wind along the coast will be moderate southerly. The UVB sunburn index in Cape Town, very dangerous. The Eastern Cape, sunny and hot, but cloudy and warm along the coast where it will clear partially. A few thunderstorms are expected over the northeastern interior. KwaZulu-Natal, partly cloudy and hot, humid in the east. A few thunder showers are expected in the south. The UVB sunburn index in Durban, also very dangerous. That's the weather. Here it is.
We run the Toasty Show.
Good. All right, so as we said, after the weather, we are now back with Helgaard Koortse and the SA powerlifting team. If I can just powerlift myself out, you look at that, one arm, no problem. Check it out. All right, here we go. Here's Helgaard. Helgaard, welcome back. Here we are again with the SA powerlifting team. Now, okay, what is the very next big event on the powerlifting calendar?
The Masters are going to the World Championships in April.
Some of these guys going?
Yeah, Arthur is going, Vivian and Moff is going. They're going to beat us, the South African team, at the World Masters bench press competition.
Only 3 guys allowed?
3 guys going.
From each country?
There were more in the team, but due to the lack of sponsorships, there were only 3 of them going.
Oh, I see. How many countries are we competing against?
It will be about 30 countries and about 300 odd lifters that's going to compete.
So how long is that competition?
It's on 4 days.
4 days?
Yeah, the different weight divisions on different days. It will last 4 days of competition.
And do they get through all those oaks in that amount of time?
Yes. Yeah. Well, all of them are just allowed 3 lifts each. So you've got 3 chances and then you're done.
Will we see it in South Africa on television, hopefully?
Hopefully, yes, yeah.
Okay. Well,
it will be live on Luxembourg, it will be live on television. So.
Now, during the break there, we were talking to Moff about aches and pains. Is that a big part of it?
That's a big part, and you must be aware of that all the time. If you're injured, you're going to sit out for competition or 2, and you're not going to qualify for the Worlds, etc. So the lifters are very, they look out for the injuries all the time, and they warm up properly. And see, for the weight that Moff's going to do now, he warmed up from about 6. So we take him an hour to warm up to do this weight, so we make sure that there's no injuries, especially close before World Championships. They're very, very aware of the injuries.
What are the most common injuries picking up a weight like this?
So weights of them must be very careful for pec tears, that the pecs just go, arms and the tennis elbow, what they call tennis elbow.
Oh, you get tennis elbow in weightlifting as well?
But just in a serious degree, but it's one of the normal problems that all the guys have.
Now, if somebody wants to get started in powerlifting, what must they look out for? I mean, what advice would you give somebody wanting to start out?
They must get hold of other powerlifters training at gyms. That's the easiest way. Train with them, get to know them. They made all the mistakes already. They'll teach you from day one that you don't make all the mistakes that they have already done. So it's easy to get in touch with them at the gyms. That's the easiest part.
Do you want to get there? Does Moff want to start doing the lift while we carry on talking?
Yeah. For Francois going to start.
Francois going to start. Okay.
Yeah, he's got 175 kilogram on the bar now. He's not in training for any a specific competition at the moment, so he's out of season. He's not in shape at all. He did over 200.
He's not in shape, but look at the I mean, he's just
no, he's out of shape at the moment. He did over 200 kilos a couple of times already. It was easy for that one. It was.
Okay, so that was just a little gooi there?
Yeah, that's just a warm-up for him. And we're going to put about 190 on for Moff. Now he's in training for the World Championship, so he's weight.
What's the sponsorship story like there, Elgert?
We've got a big problem with sponsorship, and that's why we've got big teams, but not all the guys are in a financial position to pay for themselves.
Yeah.
And the money that we've got from the government we use for development, small competitions all over the country, and we don't use that to send the guys overseas.
Right.
And that's a big problem for us at the moment.
Because it's a well-televised sport, I think, in the world. I mean, I think the sponsors should look to getting involved there because they can get nice mileage out of it. Because, I mean, could you wear a sponsor's logo on your T-shirt?
T-shirts, yes, yeah, we're allowed to do that on the T-shirts. And
sponsors, keep a look out there. You can get your name on their T-shirt when you can get it in a big close-up because the Oaks have to be... Yeah, okay, what did he lift there? What did he lift there, Moff?
195.
190. Are you going to move up a scale? 190 for Moff, I like it already.
He'll do over 200 at the World Masters.
Let's introduce some of the guys here, Elgert, in the team.
This is Vivian Skierman. He's a disabled lifter. He represents South Africa already.
He was at the Olympics?
No, I didn't push in the Olympics. Yeah. I only started powerlifting about, say, 6 months ago.
Yes, like you did well.
Yeah, but I've been in paraplegic sport for many, many years.
Oh, okay.
I've come out of paraplegic sport and Moff started to train me as a powerlifter now.
And he's 52 years already and he's still competing.
Okay. And on Moff's right we have?
Arthur Koop.
Arthur Koop, who's looking cool. And on his right, of course, we know Francois. And one of those, who's the small man over there?
That's Muriel de Toy. She's the best lifter woman in South Africa 2000. She's our best lifter in South Africa, woman powerlifter.
Are you gonna lift this one?
Not quite.
Can we watch her lift something?
Yes, we can watch her.
Have we got time to do a quick lift for...
deadlifts doen.
Do a deadlift?
Yeah,
what does that mean? That doesn't sound good.
That's the one you put on the floor and she pull it up from the floor. Hoeveel wil je doen?
Okay. So, all right, so she's going to do a deadlift?
A deadlift.
A deadlift. And that's where you gooi like and you get it here?
No, just from the floor up to upright position.
Oh, to the upright. That's a deadlift. Position. Okay. What is she going to lift to us?
110.
She's going to start off with 110 kilos. She doesn't want to go more than that because she haven't warmed up nothing, so she's just going to do 110.
So she's going to do a lift of how much?
110 kilograms.
110 kilograms.
That's about twice her body weight that she's going to
Twice her body weight. Good heavens. But she's one of the champions, so be careful, boys. Don't mess with this lady because she's going to give you one clap and you go over the wall. So she's going to do a deadlift.
This is just a warm-up for her. She did much more than that. Look at the stance and the grip. She got the grip in the middle and she...
And she goes like... Wait, daar gaat zij. Hey, a round of applause, please. I mean, you guys can't do that. Okay, is Moff still going to lift that big one?
No, I think he's
not yet. Okay, so you did the one, the 190.
Yeah, he's got
190. I like it already. All right, do we have any time left? 20 seconds. Okay, 20 seconds. 20 seconds.
Yes.
Okay. Sponsors, watch out because we've got a presentation here and your logo could be on this.
This is T-shirt for Bill from the South African Powerlifting
I'll pass
Federation.
it on to him because but that's the lookalike. This is
Vic, right? We'll pass it on to you and you'll give it to him.
I'll pass it on to Bill. Now, sponsors, get behind the SA powerlifting team because, I mean, you can think of all the products you can gooi with these Oaks. And you can see their logo, your logo right here in big close-up because they've got to come to the Oaks face to show all the luck. 164,000 pounds here. So you can get your logo here. Sponsors, gooi with these boys because they're the mannen, they're here and the vrouwmense are here. So gooi with them. So dankie Elgert and good luck in the upcoming competition. And right now we're going to go to, I don't know where, but we're going somewhere. Hey? Oh, we're going to health talk, which is good because you're actually healthy, so you must listen carefully there.
We'll try.
But thank you, man, and good luck in the competition. You all the guys, especially Moff. I mean, because no relation to Moff, Margaret. No. But we won't say any more about that because otherwise we get clapped here. All right, go to that health thing now because the Oaks are healthy already. These Oaks are healthy. You must go to somebody else for health. Gooi there. I mean, because we...
Dr. Graham Kemp, and he's a general practitioner actually here to talk to us about HIV and AIDS. Now, Dr. Graham, I just want to ask you, like, afterwards, if you have some time, just to check up on the sanity of my uncle because he had some berries in Papua New Guinea and he's a bit off now.
He's a bit cuckoo.
He's a bit cuckoo, but just be careful because yesterday I had a doctor in here and he punched him in the face, actually, because he mistook him for someone else because of the delirium. Anyway, we're here to talk about AIDS. Very welcome to the show.
Thank you.
There's
Nice
the
to see
official
you all.
handshake. Yes.
Hello.
Now, I just want to ask, from the word go, what sort of misconceptions do people have about HIV and AIDS?
I think, first of all, none of us believe that we're going to become positive. That's the first misconception.
Right.
And the other thing is that people often think that AIDS is someone else's disease, that it won't affect them.
Yes.
And it's going to affect us all. It's a human disease. It affects all humans.
And what do you think is the sort of level of knowledge in the country?
The level of knowledge, I think, depends on where you are.
Okay.
But I think if we look at poorer people, their knowledge is, in fact, a lot better than the people who are from the northern suburbs. A lot of people in the northern suburbs think that there is a cure for AIDS, and there isn't a cure for AIDS,
Yes.
and that's the most important thing.
Why do you think we don't have a cure yet? I mean,
We don't have a cure because this virus, in fact, is a very clever virus. It changes its colours every day. And because it changes its colours, we can never develop our own immunity against it.
Now explain to me, what is the HIV virus?
Well, it's a very difficult thing because we don't know what a virus looks like.
All right.
A virus is a very small particle, and the most common one that we all know about is the common cold. It's made up of little building blocks called RNA. And that RNA, in fact, injects itself into us, and it becomes part of our body. It becomes part of the DNA that makes us up. And that's the misconception that people have, and that's why we don't have a cure, because it actually becomes part of our genetic material. So every time we multiply a cell in our body that has the virus, we're also multiplying the virus.
Okay, so it keeps on growing.
Keeps on growing.
Taking us over. What's the connection between STDs, HIV and AIDS?
Well, first of all, we get HIV mostly through sexual contact, right, in this country. So it in itself is an STD. But in fact, we know that people who have had an STD or who have an STD are more likely to either pick up or to transmit the virus as well.
All right. What other ways of transmitting it is there?
There are different ways. Obviously, we've talked about sex. The other way is through intravenous drug abuse. People who share needles, right, they can transmit the virus. Mothers who are pregnant and who are positive can transmit the virus down to their babies as the babies are being born.
All right. Do you just want to explain to the viewers what an STD actually is?
An STD is a sexually transmitted disease. In men, it's quite obvious. It produces a discharge or an ulcer. In women, it's a little bit more difficult, and that's why it's important that men who pick up STDs and who are aware of it should really be able to go back to their partners and be very open to their partners and share with them and say, listen, I'm sorry to have to tell you, but I've picked up an infection and I think you need to have yourself checked out. You need to go and see a doctor.
Is that quite a problem? Are people quite open about that, or do you find those
I think people aren't open about it at all. I think they're not prepared to admit that they've got an STD to their partners because they're not sure where they've picked it up.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Oh, there's a bomb.
There's a bomb there.
And then they don't do what they should.
And they don't do what they should, you're right.
Once you know that you have HIV, what sort of steps do you think you should take?
I think that one of the first things that you should do is that one should not be afraid of being HIV positive. It's something that is going to affect a lot of us in our country. And the first thing that you need to do is, in fact, go to your doctor.
All right.
You need to find out a little bit about your HIV. You need to know whereabouts in your disease you are, because there's a misconception. I can be HIV positive, but I do not have to have AIDS.
Right.
Yes, one day my HIV will lead me to being defined as having AIDS, but that can take 10 to 12 years, and I can live a very healthy life for 10 to 12 years just being HIV positive.
Is that usually the time frame period, 10 to 12
On
years
average,
of
the middle of
health,
the road is about 10 to 12 years, but there are people called rapid progressors. They progress quite rapidly, and within about 18 months they develop AIDS.
Okay.
And then there are some people who are on the slow road. We call them the non-progressors, and in fact, we don't know why, really, but they just don't progress down that road and they don't develop AIDS.
All right. Now, what sort of treatment is there to counteract HIV? What's available? What can people do?
I'm not sure if there's anything to counteract HIV. I think that once we're positive, we need to realize that, first of all, we don't have to climb into treatment straight away. You don't have to get treatment straight away. And previously, we thought that it was important to start taking drugs straight away to keep the virus under control. But we now know that these drugs, in fact, have a lot of side effects, and these side effects aren't so lekker. And so, in fact, if you have a good relationship with your doctor and he knows a little bit about HIV, he will monitor your immune system. He will look at the cells in your body to see how far your immune system's, in fact, becoming weaker and not able to fight infection. Once that happens, he will see there's a certain level that he will look at, and he will say, well, there are certain drugs that we can do to stop the virus from replicating. Because this virus likes to grow, and it grows very fast. We make millions and millions of copies of virus per day. But our immune system, if we look after it, is able to fight that and able to break down that virus.
The actual treatments, how expensive are they?
The treatment is quite expensive. Originally, we would look at a combination of about 3 drugs that would cost you in the region of about 3,500, 4,000 rand.
Yeah.
But today, the prices of these drugs are coming down.
I want to ask you, there's a lot of scientific approach and treatment. Do you think the medical fraternity should explore other avenues?
I think that one of the things
I don't want to sound like New Age happy clappy, but are there other things to do?
No, I think there are a lot of things that... I think one of the things about doctors is that we come out with a very scientific approach to medicine. And I think as we grow older in medicine and we get more experience, we realize that in fact there are different ways of looking at HIV. Yes, there is a medical way of looking, but there's just a philosophy behind HIV is that if you can have a healthy way of thinking, a healthy mind is a healthy body.
Yes, it's also getting the head right. I want to thank you very, very much for coming in, Doctor.
Thank you very much.
And you guys out there who are watching,
keep it safe.
Yes, keep it safe, and if you're already ill, don't worry about it. Work on your spiritual, work on your head. Right now, my Uncle Vic, whose head is a bit gone, is out in the current. I don't know what he's doing. Just you go keep an eye on him.
You see, don't get shocked. Don't get shocked because you know, having been in the New Guinea jungle for like the deep for 7 weeks and getting fraught by mosquitoes and stuff, and trying to dodge Tom and Jerry, you know, with their cosmetic fights that they were having, I thought I must just ease myself back into civilization slowly by hanging out in the trees here, because you know it reminds me a bit so I can phase myself out. So I'm just touching a few leaves here, and I also found some berries here on our own tree in the Toasty House. So I mustn't eat these because they can react with Andy, our cameraman's other berries, and I don't eat those. So I'm just easing myself back in. But coming up on the show, we have Kieran Rennie from the Glory Days show. We also... Can't be real. We have a performance by the King of Kwaito, Arthur. And then... Hey, I think something's crawling up my back. Hang on. Hey, hang on. Andy, hang on. There's something... Hey! Hey! What? There's something crawling up... Andy, can you see if something is crawling up my back? Hey! Just check in my back. Hey! Is there something in my back here? Because I can't have these things...
We run the Toasty Show.
Is your life a little less than perfect?
But did you sleep with his lover out of spite?
Well, they're here to show you.
Now he wants me to initiate the sex.
You ladies are tramps.
It could always be worse.
Why?
So what if they hate each other? You've got to love Ricky Lake today at 2.
A celebration of cinema. We all know that hard rock will send you straight to hell.
How's it hanging, Death?
But can hard rock save the world?
No way!
Welcome to hell.
Oh, it's Harl Millheads!
Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, Saturday at 8.
Hi, I'm back here with the King of Kwaito, Arthur, and we're talking about his latest single, Inja. Do you want to tell me a bit about that?
Yeah, Inja means a dog. In the song, I say, Mawinja Winja. If you're a dog, you always remain a dog, and it depends on what kind of dog you're talking about. And in this situation, it's a top dog in Kwaito circles, you know.
All right.
So I did this song because of the very same issue that we were talking about, people not appreciating sometimes when somebody's doing good in whatever they're doing. So my fans would always say, no matter what they can say, Arthur, if you're a top dog, you're a dog, you'll remain that way. So that's why I say I do music for the men on the street. So if the man on the street gives me that kind of gimmick, I have to use it for him to appreciate.
Oh, yes.
So that's my latest single. It's the second single from the album Nige, because what I've decided to do with my last album, I just released one single to the media, to radio stations and TV, and then now I'm coming with the next single. That's why people never know my songs unless if you buy the whole album. What I do, I release a single, and then after I release another single.
Now, why do you do that?
I think what we do, I mean, it's like you watch everything like football and everything, they adopt what everybody else is doing out there, bring it here, localize it. So with me, I've realized that international artists, this is what they do. When they release an album, they don't give the radio station the whole album.
Yes.
They give them one single, so that the radio station can focus on that single. It's either that single makes it or not.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, it at least gives it the direction.
Yes.
You focus on one single.
So it's
I just give them
turn that
nigga.
single into a hit, and then
It's
there
better,
go.
you know. And then if it fails, you go for another one.
Yeah.
And that way, it also shows the company that this is the right track or this is not the right track.
All right.
But at least, unlike when they just give away the album and somebody listens to the first track or
Yes.
the album title and they say,
So
it's
you,
not a good album.
Do you sort of look and decide, okay, this is going to be my hit single. If they like this and I bring it out on the album, they're going to get the album as well?
Yeah, you know. Because like now, with my second single, I thought nobody liked the single, the song. I just chose it because I know where it comes from. My fans like the song.
Yes.
And the moment
And they're the ones who buy anyway.
the moment it came out, everybody was like dancing, you know. Then I thought, yeah, I still made the right choice again.
Now, you're saying everybody's dancing. Now, do you think the people on the dance floors quite like take their cue from what happens in your music videos?
Some of them, yes, they do. Because of, like I said earlier on, it started as underground music. I had to help expose it as a culture.
What do you think makes your style so unique?
I don't know, because it's ghetto music, you know. It's music relevant for the audience that I'm looking at, and it talks about what they see every day, what they hear about every day. You know, it's like when there's a new kind of dance emerging in townships, I just jump into it and do it. And when there's something happening, or if it's a problem, I do it. For me, music is just about everything. If I think Tracy excites me and people, my fans, you know, I do it. For me, I don't care. I don't have to write about politics at all times, because some people don't want to hear that anymore.
Okay, so you keep up with what's going down. I want to ask you, you worked with the guys from Yizo Yizo in your latest music video. What was that experience like?
Cool, because they're very nice guys, and I think most of the things they portray in that drama series is not how they are.
All right, so did you use
you
the
can see they're
actors behind it?
They're acting, you know.
Yeah.
That's why with me, they can still jowl with me and have fun with me, and, you know.
Is that what they do in the video? Do they have fun with you?
Yeah, no, they have fun. They're not fighting, they're not aggressive, they're not everything that the media has made us believe they are, because that's what I wanted to experience as well. And by the way, I'm part of the Yizo Yizo crew, so I acted as well.
Oh, did you act it?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. And what's that like?
It's funny because I'm acting.
Like that?
No, I'm not being me there. I'm somebody else, you know.
Yes,
I'm this
what
kind
does
of
that do for
Toasty
you?
that's buying, you know, stolen goods and stuff like that. But, you know, you must watch it to see how it ends, you know.
How did that come
but
about?
I'm very Toasty there.
Are you very Tootsie?
Yeah.
Did they ask you, did you audition?
Yeah, I went for auditions. You know, it was a bit scary. It was very strange. After doing an audition for Yizo Yizo.
So
at first, I didn't want to do it, but I just thought, man, come on. I'm an entertainer, by the way.
Yeah.
Let me go, you know.
Yeah, so you're going to explore more of that as well. Listen, you were into modeling as well. Tell me about that a bit.
I tried everything.
Yes. You
What's
tried
left
everything.
is for me to play golf now.
Have you not done
Tennis,
that yet?
boxing, I was beaten. Karate, I was beaten. Oh my goodness. I've tried everything, you know. I just wanted to be, I wanted to be famous. That's why even now I'm exposing so many young talent. I mean, like there's a new artist, there's a 14-year-old girl called Purity. She'll be releasing soon. She's a great singer. And South Africa hasn't discovered a singer for the past 4 or 5 years, since the days of Queen, Lebo, Chandi. So there hasn't been any new act coming apart from TK and, you know, a whole lot more that came out after. But the 14-year-old.
I've got 10 seconds, and I just want to ask you, tell me, who are you involved with? Because everyone wants to know.
Involved with?
Romantically.
Yo, romantically.
Yeah, he's not going to tell. Let's just go.
No, I will tell. It's 1,000 girls.
1,000 girls. Let's go to a break. Thank you very much for coming in.
The Toasty Show.
They turned in their own mothers.
She takes chunks, starts ratting it. Sweatshirt, sweatshirt, sweatshirt.
Tyra Banks, Rebecca Romaine Stamos, and daughters everywhere join forces to make over their moms.
You need to help my mom.
Come on out, Lene! We have never had that reaction in 15 years. Next Oprah.
Oh, that's great. It's great.
This March, celebrate cinema with Charlie Chaplin. He didn't just make comedy. He made history. Celebrate Charlie Chaplin, the actor, the director, in City Lights, Saturday at 2.
We're on the Toasty Show.
Welcome back to the Toasty Show on this International Women's Day. I'm just sitting in the bush here because being 7 weeks in the deep jungles, I'm just trying to get myself back to civilization slowly by listening to some, jungle sounds on the radio. I mean, I haven't even had a chance to wash it. I mean, I've been yesterday bedridden because I was not lekker with the berries and so I'm just trying to ease myself back into everything. So I won't wash until next week, just so I can ease myself back. That's why I still look like this. You think I'm unhygienic, but in fact, this is mental stuff. Mental stuff. So go to the news because Mandlakazi is quite well dressed and I'm not. So go to the news because she looks right and then get a...
Welcome back to the final news bulletin this morning. I'm Mandlakazi Mphahlwa. The right of gay men to donate blood will have to be decided in court because negotiations between the South African Human Rights Commission and the National Blood Service have broken down. The Commission is standing firm that preventing all gay men from donating blood is a violation of the Bill of Rights. The Blood Service says men who have had sex with another man in the past 5 years fall into a high-risk group for HIV and may not give blood. The issue began in 1999 when a former KFM radio personality was turned away after he ticked yes to the question of whether he had ever had sex with a man. The Portuguese community plans to lobby Portugal's government later this month to assist South Africa's fight against crime. This emerged after talks between representatives of the Portuguese Community Council and Safety and Security Minister Steve Tshwete in Cape Town yesterday. Council leader Tony Saramago says the body will present a report to the Portuguese government in Lisbon on March 31st. Saramago says it will suggest ways that Portugal could assist South Africa to combat crime. He says it's hoped that Tshwete will also visit Portugal to strengthen cooperation. The meeting followed an outcry over a letter the minister wrote to the Portuguese organizers of an anti-crime march. Tshwete repeated there's no feud between the government and the Portuguese community in South Africa. IFP leader Mangosuthu Buthelezi has been allowed access to documentation from the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. The TRC had used this documentation as the basis for its finding that Buthelezi was party to gross human rights violations. The move was a result of a lengthy court battle between Buthelezi and the Commission. Buthelezi had maintained that the Commission's findings about him and the IFP were completely false. The case was heard in the Cape High Court and was then appealed in the Constitutional Court. The IFP leader eventually reached an out-of-court settlement with the TRC, allowing him to have access to the documents. Buthelezi says now that the documents are beginning to be disclosed. He's confident it will be proved beyond doubt that he never perpetrated, ordered, authorized, or in any way condoned any gross violation of human rights. A Northern Province woman has gone a step further in the fight against racism. Violent racist attacks on innocent people in the province have prompted Jenny Nolt to establish the anti-racism movement. A teenage girl was recently painted white after being accused of shoplifting at Pep stores in Louis Trichardt. Members of the Pietersburg Dog Unit set their dogs on a poor black people scavenging at the Pietersburg dump. In Potgietersrus, a young man was allegedly assaulted by army commandos and made to eat his own feces. Nolt says the organization will advise people about their legal rights. She says she hopes to work hand in hand with the police in her venture. The movement is planning a march against racism on the 21st of this month. There are also moves to extend the campaign across the country. Ariel Sharon has been sworn in as Israel's Prime Minister. This after Parliament voted its approval of a unity government, which Sharon pledged would restore security for Israelis shaken up by the Palestinian uprising. The former general took the oath of office in Parliament with his hand on a Bible. He told the legislator that his government's supreme mission will be to wage a determined struggle against violence. Sharon says he wants to return a sense of security to the country. He says Israel's hand is extended in peace to the Palestinians if they end what he calls their uprising. He was elected by a landslide over Ehud Barak a month ago. The 73-year-old has sewn together a coalition controlling at least 73 seats in the Knesset. Opening batsman Herschel Gibbs is the only injury concern ahead of the first test between South Africa and the West Indies. Gibbs has been suffering from back spasms. However, he is expected to be fit for the match, which starts in Guyana tomorrow. Meanwhile, Brian Lara says the Windies are ready for the test. He says there are only 4 players who are trying to overcome illness. The rest of the Windies squad was expected in Guyana last night. Lara says he knows the South Africans are going to come after him. He says the key will be to post a good first innings total. There's been criticism in the Windies camp that Lara has been given special treatment as the only test player not to prove himself in the Buster Cup. He only started training last week after back from injury. Well, that's it from the Cape Town news team. Goodbye.
You see, I mustn't smell these berries because, I mean, my life is filled with berries and berries can make you mad and I don't want to be mad. So here's your final weather report for the day. Now there's a warning first, hot and humid conditions, hot and humid, which is like deep American jungles, the same sort of thing, so I know about that. So warnings today, hot and humid conditions with a dangerously high level of discomfort are expected over the eastern KwaZulu-Natal area, Swaziland, as well as the low-veld areas of Mpumalanga and the northern province. So watch out for that, because I know it can't be nice if you get it. Now listen, here's your regional weather forecast. They are the following. Gauteng, fine, becoming partly cloudy and hot. The UVB sunburn index in Pretoria, very dangerous. Mpumalanga, cloudy and humid in the low veld, otherwise partly cloudy and hot. Northern Province, cloudy and humid in the low veld and Limpopo Valley, otherwise partly cloudy and hot. Northwest Province, partly cloudy and hot with a few thunderstorms in the extreme south. Free State, partly cloudy and hot with a few thunderstorms except in the north. Northern Cape, fine and hot with a few thunderstorms in the extreme east. It'll be cool along the coast with moderate southeasterly winds becoming fresh to strong later. Western Cape, hot over the interior, otherwise fine and warm but cloudy and cool along the south coast. The wind along the coast will be moderate southerly. The UVB sunburn index in Cape Town, very dangerous. The Eastern Cape, sunny and hot, but cloudy and warm along the coast where it will clear partially. A few thunderstorms are expected over the northeastern interior. KwaZulu-Natal, partly cloudy and hot, humid in the east. A few thunder showers are expected in the south. The UVB sunburn index in Durban, also very dangerous. That's the weather.
We're on the Toasty Show.
Ciao now.
Right, I'm feeling a lot better now because I've been sitting in the greenery outside in the garden, trying to get back to a bit of nature, but getting out of nature because I can't. So here we are chatting to Ross Richardson, Philip Uwela, and Shane Sauvage. How are we going with our meal today, boys?
I hope you're hungry,
I'm great,
I'll tell you. What are those sticks in there?
That's cinnamon bark, which I'm just going to add at this crucial moment. You see we're browning beautifully the mushrooms and onions. We add tequila.
Tequila!
That's the way
La cucaracha, la cucaracha, la cucaracha.
And then at this moment, crucial, dark chocolate.
Is that interesting, Dark chocolate going in there?
Dark chocolate for the exotic
I'm looking forward to this big time. I tell you, we never got this in South America.
And a little bit of cream for eroticism.
Wow, I like it already.
Now we let that simmer for a few moments.
And then Philip, what's he busy with there?
All right, mushrooms are almost ready. I already added my cocktail tomatoes. Now I'm going to add coin true.